happy Tuesday. My name is Wendy Lee, and you can find me at CreativeLeeYours.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US and thrilled that you are joining me today for our crafty fun. Yay, 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 yay. Love Tuesdays, right? That's when we get together every single week and do a little paper crafting together, right? My favorite time, right? Best way to kick off the week, for sure. So, as usual, so many things going on in the studio this week. So today, yes, today started an amazing BOGO sale. Yes, all our products that are in product suites, so the suite themselves, as well as the individual products, are part of a BOGO sale. So buy one, get one. So of course, you got to watch the cart and how a BOGO works, right? So your lesser item is going to be the one that's half off. So you may have to strategically set up your orders and maybe separate them out just a bit to make sure you're getting half off on the item that you want. So know that when you order a suite, so we have item numbers that have every product in the suite. If for any reason the item number is not accepting it, it says it's out of stock, it's because at least one item in that suite is not available at the time. Don't let that stress you out. You can go out and order the individual items from the suite as well. Of course, great steal of a deal if you can get the full suite itself, but just know that there's ways around it, right? So if it's the bundle that you're really wanting, you can order a bundle from a suite and then a bundle from another suite. Or if it's a mega suite and it's got two bundles, one and the other, and get one of those half off. So just watch that as you go through your BOGO on where your half offs are going in case you need to adjust some things there. But awesome sale to take advantage of because we have some amazing bundles that are included, amazing suites that are included. And it does include anything that's in the annual catalog as well as our online exclusive suites. And there are some fantabulous ones. So I do have in the blog post for this week for today's project, right? It actually won't post until tomorrow because my project for today is part of our All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle blog hop, which does not go live until Wednesday. But you'll be able to see all the details over on my website. If you're on my email list, that's the place to be because I've sent an email out today giving you all of the information on the sale. Registration is going on now for our Notes and Totes Cultivated Creativity DIY Paper Crafting Kit. You can see a sneak peek behind me there of our fantabulous projects this month. I also have a sneak peek video here on my YouTube channel that you can see a closer glimpse of these. We curate a beautiful kit every single month, and every kit is better than the one before, in my opinion, right? I love them. They're exciting. We hope that you have fun with them. We want to get your creative juices flowing, and these are fantastic. So you don't want to miss out. I only have a few spots available in this program. It is a very popular program for me, and there aren't many spaces left, right? So if you want in, definitely get in right away. Registration does close June 20th or before if I run out of spaces, right? And then the kits will ship out by July 1st. We have in-color registration going on. So in-color club. So if you love all the new in-colors, I shared lots of fun stuff last week with the new in-colors. Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, Strawberry Slush, or Returning Fave, Timid Tiger, and Darling Duckling. If you're loving those colors and you would like to get those a little bit at a time to kind of help save that cost without breaking the bank and also get some good gifts from me, go ahead and sign up and join the In Color Club, and we will get you started. It is a 5-month program to get you all 5 fantabulous colors. All right, ready to get started on today's paper crafting fun? Let's go ahead and get the camera switched over. All right. Okay, so for today's project, we are featuring the Celebratory Sips product suite. So as I mentioned, this is my bonus project for the All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle blog hop. So these are not projects that are in the tutorial bundle itself that you can earn for free or purchase, but these are additional projects that you can use for inspiration. So you're going to get so many ideas using this product suite. And of course, I used this in last month's Cultivated Creativity, which is my DIY paper crafting kit. And I did several other videos throughout the month as well. So you've got lots and lots of ideas to be able to use this this suite. And it's one of the ones that's part of the BOGO sale, which is amazing, right? So today we're going to be using our Cheers and Sips stamp and die bundle. And I'm also going to bring in the Glass and Gardens embossing folders. Now, this suite is not in our catalog, but you will find it in our online exclusives, right? All right, so today's project is this fabulous one here. I love the colors, I love the patterns, the prints, the festivity of it. And I'm going to show you yet another way to make our glasses glass-like, right? So we've done a few things so far. We've done some embossing. We've done some window sheets. We've done fine tip glue. So today we're going to pull in our packing tape. And I love this because not only are we pulling in our packing tape to make it glassy, we're also going to add some texture, which I think is amazing. So this project was actually inspired by one that I saw by my friend Chris Robertson. And the way that Chris had done her layout, mine's a little bit different, but the way Chris had done her layout, I was immediately attracted to that and was like, I'm going to give this one a go. I think it's just gorgeous. And of course, we're bringing our design to the inside with just some simple designer paper strips there. So let's get started. So I'm starting off with a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of Berry Burst cardstock. So it's just a half a sheet of cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that to fold that in half. Oh, in case I didn't mention, I am live with you in the comments, in the chat, actually, if you're watching this video when it premieres. So definitely say hello. Let me know if you've got any questions on anything as we go on our way. So I'm pulling in some designer series paper strips here. So I've got 3 of them. So this top one here is 3 by 3. This one is 3 by 1. And then this one is 4 by 3/4. So what I love about this is that this layout allows you to take scraps, right? So we end up with all these little scraps when we have our designer series paper. And I can choose to butt these up, or I can leave spaces in between and have them fill in as much or as little of my card base if I want to, right? Because then I can put this one over the top here. So this one I made shorter and butted these together. But I think for today, I'm going to show you if I expand these a little bit, even though I didn't change my size of my designer series papers, I can kind of change up the look of my card however I want to, which I think is great. So I am looking at these 2 spaces here to get that spacing somewhat even on those 2, right? Doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to try to align that bottom one so that I'm getting a similar spacing here and here. So I've extended the height, as you can see, from this project to this project. Hopefully you can see that, right? Now, this piece right here, I want to just slide across, and I'm going to angle cut this. Now, before I put this down, I do want to put my die cut circle that I'm going to put my focal point on, but I have that for placement space, right? So I've die cut a couple of pieces here. So I've got a fresh freesia circle that I've used my largest circle for my stylish shapes dies. Definitely my favorite dies to have on hand. And then I've got this wide small banner that I've also die cut from the stylish shapes dies. So those are going to help me with my focal point on my project. So let's go ahead and get this circle down first. We're going to bring in our liquid glue. And let's add just a little bit of liquid glue to this and get that circle just slid right down in there. Now I can move this out of my way. Now, I like to cross my layers, so you do what makes your heart happy, of course. But I am going to slide this kind of like that. So I'm looking at this spacing here. I've got it a little bit narrower than this over here, but I could slide it over. Let's go ahead. Since we use liquid glue, we have a little bit of leeway. And then I've left this spacing here. I want a little wider space than what I've left up at the top, just because I think that looks visually appealing. So just a personal choice. You decide how you want to do yours. And then we'll bring this banner right in here. And again, I like crossing my layers. So I'm bringing this banner so that it is coming over a little bit further to the right. And I love that. Love, 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 love. Yay. All right. Let's work on our sentiment next, since we've already got our banner out here. So I'm going to bring in my Secret C ink pad. I'm going to bring in my sentiments. So I'm going to start actually with the Let's Celebrate that I'm putting at the bottom of the banner. And then we're going to fill in with our cheers. Now, when you use sentiments like this, use a very light hand. You don't want to smush, right? You always want to tap, tap, tap into your ink pad, but you definitely don't want to smush with these smaller sentiments because they will make a hot mess on your project, right? If you push too hard. So we've got that loveliness right there. Let's go ahead and stamp our glasses as well. So I'm going to bring in a couple pieces from the designer series paper. There's a large sheet that has different heights and widths of these lovely little watercolor blocks, and I love them. And you can use either of the glasses. There's a short one and a large one that you can use to stamp with. And I'm going to stamp it, and I'm doing it so that it comes up a little bit above, so it looks like my glass is not completely full. So you can leave as much or as little space as you want. But I think it's kind of a fun way to quickly fill your glass without spending a lot of time on it. Now, if you don't have the Cheers and Sips dies, you could fussy cut this out, but I'm going to use the dies. So let's move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet because this is going to make this so easy for me. And I'm going to lay my glasses out. I'm going to pull in some packing tape. So as I said, we've shown multiple ways to make your glass shiny over the past month or so. And this is yet another one that you can use. So I'm just going to put some packing tape right over the top of that designer series paper. Now I've got an excessive piece, so let's just wrap it to the back. Don't need all of that. And so now my paper is shiny. I love this. And like I said, we've shown different ways. We've shown doing the fine tip glue, which I think is awesome because it gives it more of a height, right? You've got more depth going on versus just the shine. We've shown taking your Versamark pad and going right up against and clear embossing with, embossing with clear, which also gives it a little bit of a texture, but is fairly flat still. We've shown adding a window sheet layer that you can texture or not texture, either one. Which is also very, very nice. But this one, I think, is your fastest and easiest way to go about it is to just add this packing tape. And it's something that you've got in your household items. So it's not an extra huge investment for most people. Might be if you don't have packing tape at your house, but I go through a lot of packing tape. Now, I really wanted to elevate this, and beyond just using the black packing tape to get the shine, I wanted the texture of the glass, and that is the thing that drew me the most to Chris's card, is that she had added the texture to the glass-like appearance. Now, she did hers differently than I'm doing mine, which is fine. So you could mix and match these two folders, or you could make them the same. Now, I used the floral on the original. Should we use the glass or the garden? What do you think? I'm going to go glass this time. Let's go ahead and we'll run this through. So we're just going to run this through. And I am going to set this so that it textures towards the bottom. And I could clip these apart if I need to, but I'm going to run it through so that it textures towards the bottom. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll come right back. All right, so now I have the lovely texture on here. Now, what I did wrong, and I didn't show you guys, was I should have die cut the shapes out first, right? Because now if I go and take these to my dies and die cut it, it's going to flatten out my embossing. So I messed up. But you know what? We can salvage it. Always die cut before you emboss and add your texture. But these are super simple shapes, so I don't even have to use the dies to get my glasses cut out. I'm just going to use my paper snips, and I'm going to come back and fix my mistake. So you guys know, I make mistakes. I'm a paper crafter. It doesn't always work out the way I had envisioned each time. But you know what? You can always salvage it. Don't let the little stuff get you, right? All right. Let's go ahead and trim this one as well. And again, when you're cutting, fussy cutting out your shapes, you can go as close to the line or as far away from the line as you'd like to. But our goal here is to not flatten out our embossing that we just added in there and gave such a beautiful texture with. I'm going to trim this one down just a smidge more. Now, I don't know if you guys do this when you fussy cut, but I find that if I can cut down deeper in my scissors, and try to move the paper versus the scissor, I get a much better cut. So I have to try that out. I think we learned that back in elementary school, right? Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's go ahead and add these glasses on here. Now I'm going to keep my orientation as far as how I did my colors the same as what I did on my original, even though we've taken up our texture a little bit different. And I'm going to use liquid glue on this one. Now, of course, I have that tape wrapped to the back, so it's going to mess with me a little bit as I am placing these down. And I'm just going to lay that right down on here. Cute. Now, let's go ahead and add our sentiment next. Now, one thing I did on the original is you can see I've got this big, kind of hefty chunk of twine here. So I've got the Strawberry Slush Twine. This is from the On The Go suite, another one of our fantastic suites that's on sale as part of the BOGO. And it's got 3 different twine colors in it. And I'm going to take 2 pieces. They're about 9-10 inches long. Let's measure and see. 9 inches is what I did these. There's no right or wrong because I wanted a little bit chunkier than just one, right? So I'm tying them together into a bow. Now this is going to give me a good size knot. And this is where I ran into a little, whoops. All right, try again. One more time. My arthritis is not playing nice with me today. Happens, right? Sometimes it just happens. There we go, a little bit better. So now I can pull this and be happy with that little twine bow, double twine bow. Now, this is pretty chunky, so that's a big knot. Now, you could do a faux bow if you prefer, but I'm just going to tuck this right into the edge here, and I think it's going to work out just fine. So let's make our loops just a smidge bigger. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here and see if I can add that little bow just right into that corner and see if I'm happy with that. Nice. Now on the original, I tried to stick it under there with a little glue dot and it didn't work as well as I had hoped, right? So we're changing it up this time and try something a little bit different. Let's go ahead and get our dimensionals on our banner. And put one close to there just to try to get that to hold that up a little bit. And we'll add our little banner right here on the front. Now I want to cover the bottom edge of this glass and I'm wanting to come a little bit further over from the edge here. Just, you know, I love crossing those little layers, right? So stinking cute. And then now I've given myself a little bit of space to be able to overlap this right on top of that one. So let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this one as well. I'm going to be a little bit excessive with it, right? Not too bad. And I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom because I am overlapping the banner, which I've already popped up, right? So we don't want to make that height too terribly high. So of course, lots of different ways you could change this up and customize it, make it your own. I'm going to come down as far as I can. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So cute. So stinking cute. All right, let's add some of our strawberry slush. So these are strawberry slush, petal pink, I believe, and clear. Let's double check. What does the back say? Strawberry slush, pretty and pink. Sorry, petal pink. I don't even know where I got that from. And then some of the clear ones. So I love that you can mix and match these. So you can use any of these colors on this particular card, and I think they all look fantastic. So I'm going to mix and match a few of these little gems here. Grab a big one. Why not? And let's grab another smaller one. So just sprinkling on a few little gems to make that a happy little card. Love, 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 love. All right, let's bring our design to the inside. Something super simple. You just bring in your white layer. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper that is 4 inches by 1 inch is what this one is. And I'm just going to adhere this. So it was another scrap I had in my pile that coordinated with what I've got. And I'm going to leave just a little white space at the bottom. Right? And it looks like I got it over just a smidge further than I wanted to. So, okay, how do we fix this? So you can put a hot breath on this and pull this off. You can use a heat tool to do that. and slowly pull this off. I could have just clipped it off as well, right? And just made it smaller. So we're just going to try to salvage this before our adhesive sets. Another reason I love Stamp and Seal versus liquid glue is that I can do things like this. You can do this with liquid glue, but sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not, to be honest with you. All right, there we go. I did much better aligning it this time. So I could put that towards the top or towards the bottom. I'm going to put it towards the bottom. Nice. And we will just add this right inside our card base here. And we are good to go. Now, could you add another glass to the inside? Why, yes, you could. You totally could add another glass right to the inside. You could stamp some sentiments. So many fun things that you can do with this project. I hope that you guys give this layout a try. And you have to let me know, which methodology have I shown in the last several weeks that you like best on creating a glassy look? I'd love to know your thoughts. And do you like the glass embossing folder or the garden embossing folder on this one? I think I like the garden. I think it's unique and different versus some of the other projects I've made. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed the project, please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel. Invite your crafty friends to come join us on Tuesdays. I'd love to have them come and create with us. And I hope to see you all again next Tuesday for a little more paper crafting fun. All right, bye for now.